I am Catherine. I live with my husband, Jason, and our daughter, Emily, who recently started kindergarten. Jason actively helps with household chores and is kind to Emily. Emily is growing up fast, and we are having a picture-perfect life. Despite that, I have a small worry. My concern is about my parents' home. It's about a 30-minute walk away, but it was not a very good environment. My father passed away when I was in junior high school, which made our daily life tough. In order to earn my own living expenses, I was doing part-time jobs like delivering newspapers, with the school's permission. Despite seeing me like this, it seems that my mother and my brother, who is 5 years younger than me, didn't really care. Later, I earned my high school tuition and got a scholarship to go to university. On the other hand, my brother Benjamin went on to further education with my father's inheritance and my mother's salary, and kept his part-time job money for himself. A lot of my part-time job earnings and salary after getting a job were used for Benjamin's tuition. Of course, Benjamin went on to university without a scholarship. Even after graduation, despite working as a member of society, he continues to live at home. And all the household chores are being done by my mother.
I have a fiancé, so I'll move out when we get married. Besides, I'm sure Mom finds taking care of me fulfilling.
Despite what he says, I doubt Benjamin is willing to give up his comfortable life. Moreover, my mother's attitude is also a problem. My mother often says to me,
"Catherine, you're the older sister, and I'm so glad you've grown up to be responsible. Benjamin is your younger brother, so it can't be helped."
It seems like my mother is taking advantage of me too. And she doesn't see anything wrong with me working for the two of them. In fact, even after I got a job and left home, she still expects me to send money home. Even after getting married, I'm still sending home $850 every month. I still have to repay my student loans, and soon I'll have to start paying for Emily's education. Although Jason and I both work, to be honest, our financial situation was tough. Thankfully, Jason understands the situation.
I think she might be feeling insecure since your father passed away. Work hard too, so you should continue to send money home as a way of honoring your parents.
I'm grateful for Jason's kindness, but it also fills me with guilt. I try to refrain from wanting things as much as possible, and live modestly to not trouble our household budget. Then one day, I got a sudden call from my mother.
"What are you thinking? I'm having trouble because I haven't received any money from you recently."
That can't be true. I'm sending money every month.
Lying won't do you any good. I wouldn't have called if I had received the money.
I have no reason to lie to you, Mom.
Well, can you hurry up and send it? You haven't deposited anything for about 6 months. That's $5,100. I'm counting on you.
With that, my mother abruptly hung up the phone. But there's no way I can swallow this. Our family has been living on the edge, sending $850 per month. To be honest, if it wasn't for that, I could spoil Emily more, and we could even go out for a family dinner. Despite our own sacrifices, her tone was harsh. I checked my bank account just to be sure, and I confirmed that the money was indeed being sent to Benjamin each month. Previously, I was sending the money to my mother, but she said,
"I don't want to have a debit card, and it's a hassle to go to the bank every month to withdraw money."
So, that's why I decided to send it directly to Benjamin. I have always been faithful in sending the money. so there's no way I'm going to send an additional $5,100. So I called my mother back. Mom, can we video chat?
Ho, why do I have to look at your face while talking? And have you sent the money yet?
That's why I called. I wanted to talk about the money. With that and an irritated look, my mother switched her phone to video chat. I made sure to clearly show the bank account records that showed the monthly payments. Look, you can see that I'm transferring $850 to Benjamin on the 1st of every month, right? You can't still accuse me after seeing this, right? I hoped that this would convince my mother that I wasn't lying. I was waiting for an apology, but what my mother said next was shocking.
Who knows?
Huh? What did you say?
Apparently you can create fake images these days, so how do I know if that bank account record is real or not? I never thought you'd have the gall to try and deceive your own mother.
Deceive? My gall? Mom, what are you saying? The mother on the other side of the video chat was grinning and looking at me. It seemed she had no intention of believing me.
I'm not that stupid. Just hurry up and transfer the money. Because you haven't been sending money, Benjamin has been depositing $720 in my account as a substitute. Aren't you embarrassed as the elder child? You should be thanking Benjamin.
As I keep saying, I have been sending the money.
Enough with the lies. Just make the transfer. Got it?
With that, my mother hung up the phone abruptly again. Even after showing her my bank account records, I couldn't think of any other way to prove that I wasn't lying. Even if I showed her Benjamin's bank records, she would probably claim it's fake. But since I was actually sending money, there should be no problem. I was sure that after a while, my mother would realize her mistake. Given my mother's personality, she probably wouldn't apologize. But she should at least stop asking me for money. I realized how naive my thinking was a few days later. Emily was at a friend's house from kindergarten, so I was spending a relaxing day at home with Jason. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and at the same time, I heard a pounding on the front door. I was startled, thinking it might be a pervert. But the voice from the other side of the door was my mother's.
Hey, Catherine, haven't you sent the money yet? Hurry up and give me the $850.
Huh? Is that you, Mom? Realizing that the person was my mother, I hurriedly opened the front door. Then, my angry-looking mother yelled without even caring that Jason was there.
You unfilial child. How long do you intend to keep me waiting? You're living in luxury while we're struggling. You're saying it's okay for me and Benjamin to go broke, aren't you?
Seeing my mother yelling like this was embarrassing to me as a daughter. I was relieved that Emily wasn't there. But I was mortified that Jason had to see my mother like this. Compared to Jason's calm and kind parents, why is my mother like this? Instead of me, who was too shocked to respond, Jason ended up replying to my mother.
We don't have any money on hand today. Could you wait a little?
My mother, believing his words, finally left. But given her state, there's a chance she might return soon. If Emily were there at that time. The thought of her witnessing such a sight of her grandmother gives me chills.
I think it would be best to discuss this matter with Benjamin.
Even if we are siblings, discussing money is hard. Besides, telling Benjamin, who is close with Mom, about what happened earlier.
But I think your mother might be more receptive to Benjamin's words than yours, Catherine.
You're probably right. Jason was right. My mother has always dismissed and ignored my opinions. But if it's Benjamin's, she listens attentively. Following Jason's suggestion, I swallowed my pride and decided to call Benjamin. Hello? I'm sorry for disturbing you when you're busy, but I wanted to discuss the money transfer.
For that, you should be talking to Mom. Hurry up and transfer $5,100.
What are you talking about? I've been regularly transferring money into your account every month.
About that, I've already used it all.
What? To my surprise, Benjamin, in a voice that sounded like he was making fun of me, added the following.
I saw there was $850 in my account, so I just used it. I mean, I wanted to buy presents for my girlfriend and take her on a nice date, you know.
Then what about your living expenses? How did you pay for those?
I have no idea. Maybe Mom took it out from her savings. But she told me this month was tough, so I gave her just $714.
What have you done?
Mom thought I gave her living expenses, and that made her crying tears of joy. Despite that, she was furious, wondering why you can't do the same.
Benjamin was laughing on the other end of the phone, but to me, it was no laughing matter. I made sure he understood that the living expenses would be transferred to him. And he had understood. Despite that, I had no idea that he was spending it all. As soon as I consulted with Jason, he took this situation seriously as well. We decided to temporarily leave Emily with Jason's parents and go to my mother's. However, my mother wouldn't listen at all.
You seem to have some lofty opinions, but I can't trust someone who can't even keep a promise to transfer money.
Please, just listen to what I have to say.
Enough. I'll listen to your story, but only if you bring me the $5,100 you owe me plus interests, which will be $7,140.
Having said that, she kicked us out. To make matters worse, a message from Benjamin came in at this timing. Benjamin seemed to have been upstairs the whole time and overheard our conversation. The message from Benjamin read, "So, I'm counting on you for the next remittance." I knew that my mother and Benjamin had been relying on me. To be honest, there have been many times when I felt burdened. Still, we are family that has shared many ups and downs together for a long time. That's why I've always thought there is nothing I can do. Since this incident, my heart sunk. I tried to stay cheerful in front of Emily, but I couldn't manage to smile elsewhere. Jason, who was worried about me, offered these words of comfort.
I won't object to you sending money, but I don't want to see you struggling because of it.
Jason.
If Benjamin ends up spending the money you deposit in his account, why not consider sending it by registered mail? It's a bit troublesome and costs some money, but it's reliable.
Yeah. But
anyway, all I want is to see you smiling. If it's for your smile, it's okay if it's a bit of trouble and costs some money.
Thank you. With Jason's words, I felt my worries fade away. Come to think of it, my mother lives in the house my father left us. So she doesn't have to pay rent, and she is still young. If she works part-time, she should be able to live without any hardship. And yet, why do I have to send $850 every month and still be criticized? Until now, I've been taking advantage of Jason's kindness. But my mother talked to me in such a way, and even Benjamin mocked me. I don't want to keep sending money to those two. At that time, my feelings of affection and gratitude towards my family faded, and my hatred for those two grew stronger. And so, I decided to stop sending money starting next month. I won't deposit into Benjamin's account, nor will I send cash by registered mail. I didn't want to continue giving money to two ungrateful people who didn't have a sense of gratitude. As I expected, a flood of messages from Benjamin began to arrive the following month. Most of them were about remittances, such as "Where's the money? You forgot the remittance," and "Hey, reply." Since he didn't seem to want to apologize, I didn't feel like replying. I kept reading Benjamin's messages but did not respond. Then, instead of messages, I started receiving phone calls. Of course, I had no intention of answering. I let all the calls from Benjamin go to voicemail. As a result, the voicemail box began to fill up with Benjamin's recorded messages like, "Send the money quickly," and "Hey, what are you thinking?" Surely, with me stopping the remittance, Benjamin must have started struggling with living expenses. And a few days later, this time I got a call from my mother.
What happened to this month's remittance? Send the total of $6,000 including the months you missed quickly, will you?
I decided not to do it from this month. Isn't a remittance a courtesy?
Please don't say such things. This month, it seems that Benjamin's salary is also low, so I haven't received enough living expenses.
You still don't understand? The reason Benjamin says his salary is low is because he can't use my remittance anymore.
Heh.
I explained clearly to my mother, who was surprised at my words. Until now, Benjamin had been using the remittance I sent. That money was used for his girlfriend's gifts and dating expenses. That Benjamin had been lying to her. If it were the mother in the past, she would never have accepted words denying Benjamin. But being cornered this much, it seems that she finally became able to judge calmly.
I'll go confirm with Benjamin.
And my mother hung up the phone in a hurry. A few hours later, an even more furious call came from Benjamin. It seems that my mother, who has realized the truth, is demanding Benjamin to return the remittances he has been squandering so far. But it doesn't seem to stop there. My mother has astonishingly abandoned all the housework she had been doing for Benjamin. There was also a pitiful voicemail left on my mobile phone from Benjamin saying,
"What should I do about my meals?"
Moreover, it appears that Benjamin has become accustomed to the luxurious dates, which he could afford because of the additional $850 per month. Among the voicemails was one that said, "Sis, what should I do for my next date?" Content that was hard to believe came from a working adult, which made me laugh rather than sigh. However, since I did not resume the remittance, even my usually unshakable mother and Benjamin seemed troubled. One day, my mother called with a sweet voice.
I've realized that you, Catherine, are the only one I can truly trust.
So, what are you trying to say?
I'll turn a blind eye to what you've missed, but can you please resume the remittance of $850 per month from this month?
Mom, don't you think you have something to say to me before that? At least, I wanted to hear words of apology or gratitude from my mother. That doesn't mean I'm planning to resume the remittances, though. But if I could hear even those words, I felt that my past self would be rewarded. However, my feelings did not reach my mother.
How dare you say such a thing? What do you mean by that? If you're going to keep that attitude, I'm ready to sever our parent-child relationship right now.
Let's do that then.
Huh?
Do as you please. I don't have any problems if our parent-child relationship is severed. Of course, if that happens, I will absolutely never send remittances again.
Then how am I supposed to live?
That's none of my business. Why don't you get a part-time job or something? With that, I hung up the phone this time. Although she immediately called me back, I had no intention of answering. Just then, I received a message on the chat app from Benjamin saying, "If you don't resume the remittances, we'll sever our ties." I thought it was so like Benjamin and my mother. To think they could threaten me with the prospect of cutting ties. So, I replied to Benjamin's message for the first time in a while. Naturally, it was a simple, "Go ahead." There was nothing that troubled me about cutting ties with my mother and Benjamin. For me, my life with Jason and Emily was the most important thing. From then on, my mother's life seemed to become genuinely hard after the cessation of my remittances. She quickly applied for a part-time job and seems to have managed to start working somehow. My mother is still young and lively, so she should be able to earn a decent amount. However, for my mother, who had been able to freely spend more than $850 per month until now, it seemed hard to lower her standard of living. She seems to be managing to survive somehow by pawning off brand-name bags and other items she's collected until now. However, every time a new item comes out, she seems unable to resist her desire and ends up buying it even if it means getting into debt. Occasionally, she calls me begging for remittances, but I have no intention of complying. Although it's unfortunate, the day might be close when she'll have to sell the house my father left if things continue the way they currently are. On the other hand, it seems Benjamin was dumped by his fiancée when she discovered what had been going on. "I can't believe you were squandering the remittances," she was apparently disgusted. Benjamin, unable to understand why his fiancée was angry, left a voicemail saying, "This all happened because you didn't send me any money. Despite being my blood-related brother, it's pathetic. Okay. We need to work hard and prepare for our move."
Catherine, are you sure it's okay to move?
Of course. After all, we are finally free. Soon, our family plans to move out from this house that is so near to my parents' home. I handed over the recordings of the phone calls with my mother and the records of the chat app and voicemails from Benjamin to a lawyer. I also put a lock on our certificate of residency. With this, it is unlikely that those two will find out our new address. Cutting ties completely as a family is difficult. But with this, I can rest assured that they won't suddenly barge into our house. With the $850 I used to remit now freed up, we're also planning to build a new house. It's still early days, but just looking at various materials is exciting.
"I want a house with a Ferris wheel."
Seeing Emily say that with a beaming smile, Jason and I couldn't help but laugh. Surely from now on, such happy days will continue.